Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again. And we've got a couple matches from locals from this past Tuesday. We have me playing Sakazuki over here and my man Angelo playing Enel. This was the first match of 3, and it ended up being a really fun time. A lot of good different matchups. And I always love to get some of this yellow practice in, because I do think that Enel is just... It's a weird deck to play against sometimes. You gotta... It's so weird. It's like, I feel like I don't want to dedicate a lot of Dawn to attacks. I just want to go 5k, because more often than not, they're just going to take it. And if they don't, I'm not super mad about it, because dwindling their hand down early and then getting to that late game stage ends up kind of working out for me anyways. But I did win the dice roll on this one, and I chose to go first. I really like to get 7-cost Borsalino down on curve if possible. If I do end up seeing the 9-cost Mihawk, that's something I've been trying out in the list a little bit as well, and that's been really fun. But I go 5, and he does see the Shirahoshi off that first trigger, getting that draw 3 trash 2. And I thought this was kind of interesting. He runs the I believe it's called the Narikabura arrow. I could be mispronouncing that, I'm not entirely sure, but running the 1-cost minus 3k to an opponent's character, pretty interesting. I like it. But also running the pudding, so we're gonna see the Whitebeard, or excuse me, wow, Whitebeard, Big Mom Pirates package, and we'll pick up the 8-cost Katakuri. We'll see 3 being attached to Enel, and then an 8k swing to life. I am just gonna take that pretty freely. No shot, I'm giving him 2k counters right there. But as he passes it over, I'm just taking a look over my cards, and yeah, just gonna Dawn up for the turn. I put Hina down. I know Hina didn't really get much into, you know, like the value per se, but it's an easy card that when my opponent attacks into it, I'll easily just get it into trash for Rebecca. And I'll attack 5 with both Hina and Leader just to get a 1k counter out of life, but also just to get him within KO range for, you know, the eventual tactics that we got going on. But I'm just going to play down Borsalino for 4, and I'll go ahead and pass. 5 Dawn is kind of an awkward turn sometimes. If I don't have brand new, it does turn out to be a bit of an awkward turn. What I like to do a lot of the times is like Greater Eruption, Hound Blaze into, you know, bottom decking something, applying pressure, and then putting down, brand new for getting a little bit of a card search and preparing for my next turn. I'm not sure if we have the 7-cost Borsalino in hand. It looks as though we might. I have Manchuri as well as brand new, but I think we picked up the brand new afterwards. And I was like, I want to establish the Borsalino and just go from there. He doesn't have any of the bigger bodies on the board yet. Luckily, the 2 triggers weren't, you know, massive on the 5k swings potentially coming from it. But I'll see a 6k swing into life, as well as that Gidatsu does get rid of my Hina. I'm not, yet again, not super mad about it. I'd love to build the board, but at the same time, I am perfectly fine with the fact that, you know, Hina is now in the trash for Rebecca to get some value. We've got up to 7 Dawn. Yet again, I don't know. I don't think that we drew into the 7-cost Borsalino, but I could be wrong. I'd love to get that card down, but I just don't think it's gonna work like that. I'll go ahead and just swing 5k into Gidatsu, though. I know that the following turn is going to be his 8 Dawn, so Katakuri is going to come down. Something's going to get bounced back to life. So I know that I'm kind of like +1 life at the moment, or my opponent could bounce back that Shirahoshi to get a little bit of card cycle. And I choose to pick up the Hound Blaze off of brand new here. I know that I'm going to want to be getting rid of that Katakuri once it comes down. I am just going to go 5 into life as well, more than likely. I'm just taking a look over my hand one more time. I know that I have the option of getting rid of Gidatsu, but if I do that, then I don't really have a lot of plays for getting rid of the 8 cost category. He does choose to take this. Lucky for us, no trigger, so I'm very happy about that. We actually will see a Greater Eruption, getting rid of the Gidatsu and the Pudding with Rob Lucci. I'd just go ahead and say, yep, get those off the board. I'd love to get Shirahoshi as well off, but I know now that with the cards that we have established on the board and him being at 1 life, it's more than likely one of my characters are going to be removed, or Shirahoshi will be bounced back to cycle through some of the hand. I guess it really just depends on what he feels like he has, set up for the future turns. Does he have the Yamatos in hand? Does he have, potentially another 8 cost category? I definitely know that those cards in particular is what he's going to be wanting to look for here. So if he doesn't, putting Shirahoshi back might actually be the play. If he does, potentially getting rid of the Borsellino blocker or even the Rob Lucci might actually be a little more helpful for him in this situation. So looking at my hand there very briefly for a second, it looks as though I did have the Sabo, another Borsellino. So we're set up pretty heavily on the blockers, but him putting back the Shirahoshi does kind of tell me, okay, I know now that more than likely he's not got the hand that he wants for the rest of the match. And I'd love to see a 7 cost Borsellino or a 9 cost Mihawk here. If we do end up getting that, it's going to be really nice just bottom decking the category and just establishing a body onto the board that he's 100% not going to be able to get rid of. I will go 6. I'm trying to get that Shirahoshi to hit the board. I'm not going to dedicate a lot of Dawn to this. I'm not really, that threatened by him being able to get the draw 3. It is rather annoying because I know that he's going to draw into those Yamatos and some of those other characters. But I'm just doing some math in my head. I'm like, if I swing with Borsellino, and potentially play a removal card, will I have blockers onto the board? He is going to take that 5k swing though, drawing 3 and trashing another Thunderbolt as well as a 7 cost Enel. Now I do get down the Mihawk. This is massive in this matchup. The card cannot be removed. It's very sticky. For them to get over a 9k stat line is very difficult. Yamato can go for it, but you have to establish the card first and then go for, a pretty heavy swing when, usually speaking, I'm going to have quite a lot of blockers on in the Sakazuki. And surprisingly enough, though, I do actually cycle out the Rebecca and pick up an Ice Age here. Ice Age is going to be massive considering we do have Houndblaze, but I already had a Rebecca as well as a Sabo in hand, so not too shabby overall. We are going to see the Thunderbolt Amaru coming down, though. It's going to just buff up the leader to an 8k swing and take out my Borsellino blocker. Unfortunate, but I still have some tricks up my sleeve. Obviously, getting rid of the Katakuri shouldn't be too difficult now that we have that Ice Age in hand. It looks as though we drew into another Rob Lucci as well. I could establish that onto the board, by using Leader Swing and Ice Age to bring it down to 2 and then using Rob Lucci. And then playing down Sabo to make everything, unKOable by effects. And now we'll have plenty of attacks to go for game the following turn. But I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if that's what I ended up going for here. I might actually do the Rebecca into Hina to lower it down, and then potentially use like a Greater Eruption. But I think we're just going to kind of play it by ear. I'm going to figure it out. I do go 9k first, though, with the Shirahoshi. This does give him another card draw yet again. He's just able to cycle out all these dead cards in hand and just fill up his hand constantly with every card that he will need for the rest of the game. I know that I'm kind of on a ticking time bomb because of that. He keeps, he's going to continuously go up 1, and I could right here try and get him down to 0 life, but then Yamato just kind of ruins that entire plan. So I do choose to go for Sabo first, and with the Sabo I'm going to be able to protect my Lucci in case in case the last life happens to be like Thunderbolt or some other trigger. But I got to get 2 cards out of hand. We go ahead and trash the Lucci, and I'll go ahead and trash another Rebecca. But I believe I have a Manchuri in hand, so I'm not sweating getting rid of the Rebeccas right now, just because I can pretty easily bring them back. But 7k into life, I want to get 2 cards out of his hand. I don't mind, you know, attacking into him being at 1 life here. I just want to get some resources out of hand, and I'm also going to do the same thing with a 6k swing. I'm like, hey, if you do choose to take this, then we're not looking too shabby. But he gets a blocker, which is pretty fortunate, and has to trash a 9-cost Yamato. But I'll go ahead and use the Ice Age onto the 8-cost, and then buff up my brand new to a little 6k swing. Now I'll go 6 into life. He does get the block through, which I was hoping to get another card out of hand, or potentially even get the life off of him there. But I think it was overall a huge win for us on that turn, just getting rid of 8-cost, but also simultaneously forcing him to trash that 9-cost Yamato to go ahead and heal 1. We have a extremely well-established board. Sabo is very, very annoying for him to deal with in this situation, simply because every card that he wants to play doesn't end up... Oh, you know what's funny is I was like, oh, so you want to kill the brand new here? And he was like, yeah, Sabo effect, though, I can't. And I was like, dang, that's really nice. I actually forgot to even think about my own Sabo effect. I was about to trash my character. So shout out to my man Angelo for being a absolutely respectable human being right there and not taking advantage of that situation. I'm going to go 5 into life, though, bringing Yamato down. These little pokes are very annoying for him because he knows that he can just take it. However, I'm going to get resources from his hand. And he does use the arrow, though, to stop the Lucci attack. He does counter out with a Sanji against my, what do you call it? Sakazuki attack. And I'll bring Yamato down to a 6-cost right here. We could use, depending on how much Dawn I have left. I think I do have 9 Dawn. So I could use Manchuri, pick back up Rebecca, get Rebecca to use Hina and then Houndblaze, but that's if I have it. He's thinking about the trigger here, does decide to activate it, trashes the Amaru. I do think this is a little bit interesting, but yeah, I actually get I think he just wanted the swings to potentially go for game here. And I get Hina to lower down the Yamato to a 2-cost, and now with 5 Dawn remaining, I think I'm pretty certain we're just trying to get him down to 0 life here. I think it's a bit risky, though, if I'm being completely honest. I am just going to bottom deck that, and I'll go ahead and go a 6k swing into life. No, it looks like 7. Yeah, 7k swing into life. I don't believe he'll be able to stop this, but he does get the leader effect, trashing the 7-cost Lin. And now I'll go 9 with Mihawk. I think I was risking it a little bit much right here, because had he gotten like a good trigger, there was a chance that he could have another Amaru or a Thunderbolt in hand, get rid of the Rebecca, and I'm not entirely certain how much counter power I have in hand. But I pick up the Rebecca off Manchuri here, and it looks as though I have like 3 1k counters, so not too bad overall, but still a little risky. Little risky. But that's like perfect situation, but it does tend to happen a lot more often than I would like it to. So this ended up playing out pretty well for us. He does get the 6-cost Parasparrow off-putting. I know that's for sure not what he was looking for here. So I think he was definitely trying to pick up like an 8-cost Katakuri, probably bounce back the Shirahoshi, do some shenanigans. But we have such a board established, and with 2 life, 3 cards in hand as well, we've definitely put ourselves in a winning position. You know, being able to get Mihawk down onto the board on curve was pretty massive. That card really just does a lot of work in this matchup for the rest of the game. I think that not only Mihawk, but like Kaido, 10 cost Kaido, 10 cost Kuzan are just phenomenal parts that you can have in this matchup. And I'll go ahead and block this with Rebecca. Yeah, so he's going 7k, I believe, to life, and I choose to just block this because knowingly I'm looking pretty good here. But yeah, he does concede. He knows that he's not going to be able to get through right here. And I was wondering, I was like, yeah, if you did have Amaru, I was like, there's this weird chance that you could have potentially got it. But I had a 2k, and it looks like I would have drawn into another 2k as well. But super solid match. We take the first game at locals here, and big shout out to Angelo for yeah, just a great match. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I would love to hear your thoughts as always. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.